Now, motion in a plane के लिए we need to have a understanding of vectors. Why is that? Because अभी तक जब भी हम one dimensional motion पढ़ रहे थे, if we had to describe that the object is going along, moving in a positive direction, we used to take plus, and to denote it is coming back, we used to take negative direction, right? But now when we start talking about motion in a plane, let's say if we have to talk about motion of Earth around the sun, so we are talking about motion of in a plane. Or if we talk about projectile motion, again we are talking about motion in a plane. Projectile would be uh, any object that you throw with certain initial velocity and you give at some angle with the horizontal. Okay, that is called as a projectile. Now, if we have to study all the mathematics of all these things, of all these situations, then we need to have an understanding of vectors, because now we will have two axes, x-axis as well as y-axis. Simultaneously, motion will be along in a plane. So we need to describe the location or position of an object. We'll need at least two axes. And for those two axes, only the notation of plus and minus is not going to suffice. Fine. So we need to have an understanding of vectors. So I'll start sharing my presentation. We already are aware of what are vectors. These are quantities which these are measurements which have both magnitude and a direction component. So we have already studied some of the vector quantities like displacement, velocity, acceleration. So in all these measurements, unless we specify the direction, their description is not complete. Scalars, on the other hand, measurements like area, volume, all these are fully described only by their magnitude. So for them, we don't need any direction to be specified. So these are called as scalar quantities. Other examples are distance, speed, temperature. Besides the two I told you, that is volume and area. Now, when we are talking about vector, what do we mean by its magnitude? It will have a magnitude and a direction associated with it. So the number value, the numerical value associated is called as its magnitude. So if I'm talking about 10 Newton of force, so that 10 Newton would be the magnitude of force. So it could be in any system of unit, MKS, CGS, FPS. So magnitude could be in any unit. And when we're talking about the direction, now there are several ways in which you can tell the direction of a vector. So sometimes you would find books in which they are specifying direction only as that you are given a question that a man first moves north, then he moves south, then he'll move east. So they might be simply telling the cardinal directions. Or you might get a question like that a man sets out on a journey in which his initial position makes an angle of 30 degree with the horizontal. So in that case, you are being given an angle associated, which is helping you determine the location, okay, which is helping you determine the direction of motion of the object. Now again, further classification could be आपको ये जो angle है ऐसा हो सकता है कि आपको डिग्रीज में दिया हो या ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि आपको रेडियंस में दिया हो. So there are various notations for direction which are used. Now based upon which additionally look at the third point. अपवर्ड मोशन को हम पॉजिटिव दे देते हैं, डाउनवर्ड को नेगेटिव, राइट को पॉजिटिव, लेफ्ट को नेगेटिव. ये भी नोटेशंस हम यूज करते हैं. इफ यू रिमेंबर which we did in one dimension, that is equally valid here. So basically to specify direction you need to have a understanding of coordinates. So look at the 4 coordinates right in front of you. We have quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. So x and y values are positive in quadrant 1. Y remains positive, whereas x becomes negative in quadrant 2. In quadrant 3, we have both x and y values as negative. In quadrant 4, we have x as positive, whereas y is negative. So another alternative way of writing this would be, you could have written 0 degree east. Okay? Either you write plus x or you write 0 degree east. It would amount to the same thing, that we would know that the object is moving along the x-axis. Similarly, if we write 90 degree north, so we know that or we write positive direction of y-axis, so we would know that the object is going 90 degree north. So different notations are basically telling you the same thing. How do we represent the vectors graphically? Okay. Graphically, if I have to represent a vector, it is always represented with a line with an arrowhead. Okay, it is represented by a straight line with an arrowhead over it. So a straight line with an arrowhead over it indicates a vector quantity. Fine. So the arrowhead basically gives the direction, and the length of this line, how long it is, it tells you the magnitude of the vector. And vectors are always drawn as per a scale. Okay, they are always drawn as per a scale. So here 30 meters 40, a vector of 30 meters magnitude with a 45 degree angle. You can see it is making a 45 degree angle with the x-axis. So it is tilted with respect to the x-axis, and it is drawn as per a scale where each of these small units represent 10 meters. So this second vector, so let's call it A vector. Let's call this B vector. So B vector is representing 30 meter north, or we can say 30 meters with 90 degree angle. Okay. So hamesha we have to specify whenever we are drawing a vector, it should have an arrowhead which indicates what is the direction of the vector. Look at the arrowhead in both the cases. The arrowhead in both the cases is towards the direction of the vector. And the magnitude, the length of the vector, the length of the straight line, which is representing the vector, should be as per a chosen scale. Like here it is specified, one small unit has been specified as 10 meters. Everybody clear with this? How do we represent a vector?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Hanji?
ma'am, every time for the scale we have to use this dot notation.
No, this is just a way of. This is just the way I have drawn it. You can use it. You can use a scale as per your convenience.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. It is always as per the convenience of the user, and basically, it is going to be very rarely that we are going to give you graphic addition, or where you will be using graphic representation, because I'm telling you all these points because these forms the basics. I'll be using them later on in the chapter. Fine. तो एकदम से आपको पता ही ना हो कि ये represent क्या कर रहा है. Okay, so now we come on to position and displacement vectors. So if we want to talk about position vector and displacement vector, let's see, because we are going to be using them very often. So let's see what is the difference between position vector and a displacement vector. So suppose I tell you that there is any object P which is moving in the XY plane. Fine. And at any given time, suppose this is the position of the object. Okay, at any given point, this is the location of object P. So if I join these 2 points, the origin and the location of the object, this will be called as, this OP which I have drawn will be called as position vector of P. It is helping me determine that at any given time, where was the object P with respect to the origin. So it is giving me two things. It tells me the direction of the object with respect to the origin, and it tells me the magnitude of the position with respect to the origin. Okay. Now suppose this object moves from position P to a position Q here. Okay. Now he moves from position P to a position Q. So the position vector for Q would be OQ. Now can you tell me from your knowledge of first chapter number 2, can you tell me what does this vector PQ represent? This is your
Displacement.
Displacement.
Okay, this is displacement. So now I hope you have understood the difference between a position vector and a displacement vector. Because again, this is one concept we'll be using quite frequently later on. Okay, so here is your difference between the displacement vector and a position vector. So displacement vector basically is it giving me anything about with respect to origin? Basically, it just tells me how much and in which direction the object has changed its position in a given time interval. Okay, it is not telling me the location with respect to origin as such. It is telling me that yes, the object moved by this amount and in this direction. Fine. Whereas the position vector was telling me the exact location of the object at that particular point. Fine. So next we come to another notation that we use, that is polar vectors and axial vectors. This is broad classification of vectors. So broadly, whatever vectors that you are going to study, they are broadly classified as polar vectors or axial vectors. Okay. So polar vectors आपके कौन से होते हैं? The vectors which have a starting point, or there is always a point of application where they are acting, like force, velocity. All these are polar vectors. So the vectors which have a point of application. Example would be your force, velocity. These are all polar vectors. In contrast, axial vectors कौन से होते हैं? As the name is giving you an indication, axial vectors will always produce, they basically represent rotational effect of any particular quantity. Okay, so the vectors which represent rotational effect and act along axis of rotation are called axial vectors. So think about it. If you are opening a bottle of water, तो आप उसका जो कैप है वो कैसे खोलते हो? You put your thumb here and your index finger here, and then you rotate it. Okay, and you rotate it. So this vector, which is going to denote the effect of rotation, you are applying two equal and opposite forces on the bottle cap. which is causing it to rotate. So this vector would be a classic example of a axial vector. Fine. Basically कुछ वेक्टर्स है जो ट्रांसलेशन नहीं प्रोड्यूस कर सकते, बॉडी को आगे नहीं चला सकते, so they will always act along the axis of motion. It means they are producing
Centripetal force or
centripetal force.
or
No,
angular velocity.
no. Centripetal force, no. Angular velocity, yes. Angular velocity, because centripetal force ultimately it's a force. Okay, so that is not an axial vector, but yes, your angular velocity does represent a axial vector. ठीक है. So जब हम rotational motion और वो सब पढ़ेंगे ना, तो I think these quantities will become much more clearer to you. So example here would be your rotational effect of force, basically that is produced, that is called as torque. So torque or angular velocity, angular momentum, all these quantities you will study when we study rotational motion. So all these are classic examples of axial vectors. Now these are some more terms that we are going to be, that we will use basically in numericals or in solving our questions. So like equal vectors, as the name suggests. दो vectors equal कब होंगे? Now we are not only comparing the, suppose we have two vectors like this, they will not be considered as equal. Can you tell me why?
Ma'am, they have their opposite direction.
Opposite directions.
They are in opposite direction. So a vector is said to be equal to another vector if they have the same magnitude as well as the same direction. Okay, so here we can see this vector A and this vector B. They are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So we can say vector A is basically negative of vector B. So negative of a vector basically is another vector which is having equal magnitude but opposite direction. With this, I end this lecture. Thank you. Have a nice day.